makes a society perfect? This question has been asked, to me at least, for almost every single year that I've been in school. It's like developed from kindergarten to now, of course. In kindergarten, people were like, oh yeah, we can just have unicorns and rainbows, and that's just perfection. But as we've gone through school, we've had to think more about it. And so when I was given this project, that was one of my main instincts, was to go right to whether or not a utopia would actually be possible to achieve in this type of society. My main points that I had for it are human instincts, human emotion, and the literature that comes from utopian and dystopian themes. Utopia and dystopian themes, we only have the ideas basically from literature because we've never actually seen a successful utopia throughout history. And spoiler alert, I don't really think that it's actually possible with how we are today. Now, utopian and dystopian literature, they both have a really common factor that I seem to see that people kind of avoid. And that is that utopian, they'll have a perfect society, but then there'll be that one person who finds one little thing in the society that's completely wrong, and so they'll take down the utopian society into something that's better, aka kind of something really similar to what we have today, just a little bit less world problems. Same with a dystopian literature theme. People will find, of course, issues in dystopian literature, and they'll take down the dystopian government and bring something back up that's really similar to modern-day society, except less world problems. And then we also have human emotion that plays into it. Humans all have natural emotions of fear and anxiety and stuff like that just kind of repels people from wanting to do something that's out of the norm of societies today. So you can't have the utopia with the type of fear and emotion that people have today. And then there's also human instinct. People are known to take risks, but the fact that not every single person on this earth is willing to step out of their comfort zone, we can't exactly build up a society from that. And there's also the idea that we have to take out everything that we have today to rebuild something that's considered perfect, which really would not work considering, like I had mentioned earlier, with utopian and dystopian literature, the common theme is that they build something that's similar to today, but it's just more problems are fixed that we have today. So take the example of world hunger. There's constantly been projects and ideas to help with that, yet we haven't seen much of a change with it because people will give an idea, but nobody actually goes through with it and does that idea because of indecisiveness and kind of laziness, which honestly, I'm really indecisive and lazy also, so that's not an insult to anybody in this room. It's just natural for humans to be. You can have 3 big options for something, and they could be completely perfect, all of them without any flaws. But because you have those 3 options, nobody really goes through with them because they don't know what one to choose and how to actually go through with it. And we also have low motivation as humans, because it's, again, just a natural human emotion or a natural human instinct. And with that, you can have somebody who's really, really motivated, but if you have one person that's really motivated and then there's 9 other people that aren't really motivated, you're not going to get a giant project done because the only person that's motivated is that one person. Now, I took a survey, I made a survey for this, and I got about 256 responses. And so one of the questions that I had was whether or not we as people today could have a perfect society, and I wanted people's opinions on this to see accurate representations of actual people's opinions on the topic. And 93% of the people that answered that question said that we couldn't have a utopia. And I feel like that's a really good example of one of my main points of people just aren't really motivated to change these things. Because when I was going through, I also had a longer answer where it was like, what would your perfect society look like? And a lot of the people who answered no to the majority of the people just said that there is no way of actually making a perfect society because humans are just humans. Or there is some people who even said, like, a lack of society is a perfect society. So it was a really interesting mix of answers. And my last point was human instinct. We don't really just, like, how do I put this? We don't have the instinct, I guess, to really rebuild what we have, because everybody can see something as completely perfect, but then there'll be that one person that doesn't see it as perfect. So there's always just that underlying opinion that it won't be perfect, and to have a societal utopia, everybody kind of has to think it's perfect, because that's in the very definition of utopia. So the human ability to find flaws is something that's considerably perfect, is why we really can't have a societal utopia. Thank you.